I'd like you to do is introduce yourself, Gaetan, tell us a bit about what you do your demo, and I'll be putting your links in the chat. So over to you. Welcome. So fabulous to have you here.
Thank you, Dee, for having me. Honored of being here. I'm currently director and president of the Earthing Institute, which is designed to, Earthing is about connecting with the earth physically. So what was found in our research we've done since the year 2000, um, is that people in contact with the earth have a benefit. The earth is basically supplying us some form of energy that we grew up with, and that is very beneficial. It helps actually, one of the biggest thing that we found is that it helps the immune system to function better. It quenches inflammation, and also it has a very positive effect on autoimmune diseases and a lot of inflammatory diseases, which most of the old age diseases are, like arthritis, diabetes, all cardiovascular problems, um, dementia, Alzheimer's, you name them, they're all inflammation based. So, but this is the natural way that we grew up, we evolved on Earth, being in contact with the Earth. And the immune system was developed specifically to take advantage of the fact that the Earth provides us electrons, which are, there's only two charge in the universe, positive and negative. And the positive are like proton inside the nucleus, and electrons are outside, and they are the one, that are moving around. And so these are the ones that are at the surface of the earth and was used by life on Earth to develop a method for each living beings, especially, mammals, to develop a method of protecting themselves against bacteria or other invasions. Um, I have not spoke too much about my background. Is that something you would like me to talk about?
If yes, if that, yeah, so people can get to know you, Gaetan.
Yeah. So I'm French Canadian. I was born in Montreal, and I did all my studies at the University of Montreal in engineering physics. So I have a PhD in engineering physics, and then I work in nuclear fusion in Canada, and also then at UCLA. So that was basically half of my life. Then when I was at UCLA, I had also interest in mysticism and, yoga and things like that. And when I was in Los Angeles, at UCLA, I met a person who gave me a magazine called Share International, and there was in there an article by a Shinto priest that was at the same time a scientist and parapsychologist, and was doing research on meridian, chakra, and all that stuff. So I wrote to Japan, Tokyo, didn't know anything would happen. And then I got a response that the person in question, Dr. Hiroshi Motoyama, would be coming to Los Angeles, actually Santa Monica, in a yoga center. And so I had the opportunity to meet him. And he said, I need somebody like you. I have a new school that I'm starting in San Diego. And I need somebody like you to teach basic physics, to my people, because I'm developing new instruments. So I said, okay, I started teaching there. It was a brand new school. There was, like only few students. And after a year of teaching there, driving from the UCLA to San Diego, he offered me a full-time job, which was like, okay, so I'm leaving mainstream science, nuclear fusion, all that stuff, and plasma physics to go to study the meridian system and chakras and things like that. It sounds a bit like woo-woo science at the time. But I said, I think that's my future. So I decided, yes, to do the plunge, and I've never regretted it. Then I came to Encinitas. And then that's when I met suddenly this person, Clint Over, showed up. It was about 2002. he showed up and talks about earthing. And at the time, he had no formal study. The only study that what he had was with a nurse. And what they were doing is that they were taking people, they had questionnaires that people were filling about how energized are you, how are you feeling, and what your pain level, and all of that stuff. And then they were recording that, like, I think for 3 weeks after sleeping grounded. And then he reported a lot of good results, people sleeping better, less pain, all that stuff. And my first reaction was, kind of scientist type, says, well, this is so simple. It should have been discovered 100 years ago. It was actually, but I didn't know at the time. But so I let it go. I let it go. Then one of his associates came to me, and I was director of research now at that private school. And they said, we want to pay for a research. Will you do a research on earthing? So I said, okay. So I did a research project, and we had good results, some really surprising results. One of the things that we found is that it calms the autonomic nervous system. So that means that it calms stress and all of that stuff. So that's one of the first things that we found. But also we found that it uh, it helps already the brain function. Already there, we saw a calming of the brain. And I did much more studies later on mood, on meditation, and I have all these studies on the Earthing Institute website. And so that's how I got in, after the first research project I did was good results, but still I was thinking maybe, the equipment is grounded, the people are grounded. So maybe there's a loop, a grounding loop or something. But then we repeated that with equipment that were more advanced and was fiber optics. The data was transmitted by light, and two friends of mine, participated. And they said they had both like arthritis of the hands, and they said it improved tremendously. So that's when yeah, this is for real. So then, since then, I've been, you know, participating in research project for the everything in Clint over. And in 2007, no, 2009, he formed the Earthing Institute, and he asked me to be the director, and I've been doing that since then. So that's my story. And well, I'm open to other questions.
Can you explain, Gaetan, what the study's about? Like, forget the science. What are you doing? You're helping people improve their sleep or get grounded. And also, are you able to do a demo of some description with the audience? That'd be great.
Okay. Well, let's see. I can show you an example. Let me see. If I can, if you can share the screen, I can show you one of the studies, early studies that we've done, and
Okay.
maybe that will help.
Yeah, I think just talk in layman's language. Just people
Yeah,
want to know what you can do. How can you
yeah.
help them? I'm just trying to make you a co-host, which I've done.
Okay.
So,
Let me see if I can do something here that would be of interest in
and then someone
understanding.
has, Lisa's asked, is earthing the same as grounding?
Yes, I know there's some controversies, because the term grounding is used for electrical equipment, especially in the US. But in England, they use the term earthing. So Clint, since he's an American, says, well, it's less familiar in the United States. Let's use earthing to make the emphasis that we're talking about grounding people, and not grounding, in the sense punishing, but grounding in the sense of putting them in contact with the earth. And so that's why I use the term earthing. But for me, as far as I'm concerned, as long as the context is clear that we're talking about grounding people, I can use either term. It's not a problem.
Okay, cool.
So let's see if that's gonna be useful.
Another question is someone has an
Oh, okay.
earthing mat. Is it working on the same principles that you're describing?
Like the grounding mat? Yes, or the grounding equipment. So the grounding equipment, what we found, or what was found is that if you are in contact with the earth directly, you get that electrons coming in your body, but the electrons are actually mobile. So they will, if you, for example, are on a mat, the mat is made of electrically conducting material. When we say electrically conducting, that means that the electrons can move in. It's like a metal. It's like, even though like some of them are make some rubber-like material, Clint has put some carbon fibers in them that makes them conducting. So you have this conducting mat, and then it's connected to a copper wire, and you connect it like to, let's say, to a rod, a metal rod outside. What's going to happen is that when you touch it, the you're going to be now, I'm going to try to be less technical, but basically what happened is that the earth, you're becoming part of the earth. So the electrons of the earth flows into you in such a way that you are one with the earth. You are the same, we say the same electrical potential. Okay, but you are one with the earth. So that means that you have always, if you need more electrons, the earth always supply electrons, because what happens is that if we're not grounded, we're losing naturally electrons. And I don't want to be too technical, but the air in general is positively charged because of the way that it works, because the earth is actually a battery. So we're talking about the ground being the negative pole of the battery. And 60 miles up air, or 100 kilometers up there, is the positive pole. And all of this is recharged by the sun all the time. The X-ray comes to this ionosphere, which means it's ionized particle charge. They are created by the rays of the sun. They're protecting us against UV, but at the same time, they're creating charge that get transferred to the ground through thunderstorms. So it's a whole big process. The scientists calculated that if the lightning in the air on the earth stop for only 1 hour, all the charge of the earth is done. No electrons, no nothing. So it's a continuous renewal process, and we're part of it. And we are evolved in contact with the negative electrode, if you will, of the earth. And and but the air itself is in between. It's not touching the air. So the air, as you're going up to between in the air become more and more positively charged, and we're breathing that. Also, processed food has no electrons in them. Natural food coming from the earth, they're full of electrons because they've been growing on the earth. You have, vegetable, uh, fruits, all of these are full of electrons. And so, but if we're using with modern life, we're not grounded anymore. We have rubber shoes. We, the cars are tires that made of rubber. The streets themselves are made of asphalt. Our houses are made of wood. All of these are non-conducting material. And so we are not connected with the earth. If we had a house, for example, with a concrete floor, well, concrete is conducting. So you would be grounded. And there's some places where people have concrete. If you have also like a tile that is made of, has no lacking, no something on top of it to make it insulating, that also works, to ground yourself. So is that helpful?
I think
Does
so.
that answer the question? Yes.
I've got a couple of other questions for you. David's
Okay.
asking, does grounding earthing remove free radical electrons, and does this seem to have an effect on health?
Okay. So the free radicals, what we call free radicals in the body, are actually lacking electrons. These are produced by our metabolism naturally when we eat and when we have things. So we have always free radicals in our body. And we have, we need them. Some of them are used to make a uh, very primitive system in the body. It's called redox potential. It used those, you know, free radicals to as a communication system. But if we have too much, then what happens is we develop inflammation in the body. So by being grounded, the body is able to regulate how much of these radicals, and the electrons will neutralize these radicals or actually positively or lacking electrons. So that's why it's so important to always be in contact with the earth at least an hour every day, so that we are recharged and we have the body is able to keep the balance between positive charge and negative charge. I hope this answers the question.
Yep, David says thank you very much. So, can you just explain to me, like, do we need to go out into the ground, into the garden, and just stand on the grass to get grounded, or is there something else that we can do?
Well, you can do that, but like I'm from Montreal, Canada, so we have 6 months is very, very cold. Can't obviously there's no grass, and you go out there, the soil is frozen. So what I do personally, but I live in San Diego now, so that's not an issue anymore. But but what I do personally is I sleep grounded. So the Clint has a company called earthing.com, and they sell sleeping mats. So you put them on your mattress, and you can put a thin sheet of cotton on top of it, and it's still gonna work, because even if the cotton is not conducting, it absorbs moisture. There are also some sheets out there that you can put on top of the mat that are grounding that other companies sell, and things like that. So anyway, I sleep grounded, so that gives me all the grounding I need. But still, I'm at my computer right now. I use a grounding mat as a mouse pad. I use another grounding mat for my feet. I'm trying to be grounded as much as I can, even though if a person is healthy, 1 hour a day is sufficient.
1 hour a day doing what? Sitting on
Being
a
grounded.
being
Well, you
grounded.
can do you can do putting your feet on the grounding mat, or you can do gardening for an hour, or you can sit outside in the grass, your bare feet on the grass, and whatever, that makes you in contact with the earth.
Fantastic. And another question, will grounding mats release or heal varicose veins?
We have testimonials. So we have a big section on testimonials in the Earthing Institute website, and we have people saying that it helps them with their situation with varicose veins. So we don't have a formal research project, but we do have research showing that it improves circulations and it thins the blood, make it so. We do have evidence that varicose vein are getting, improved. And if you're interested, we have the website. It's called earthinginstitute.net. And there is in there, you know, a section about it says the section is, well, maybe I can show you. Would you like that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I
Thanks.
can go, I can go there and show it
Yeah,
to you.
because you're a co-host. You can do your slides and whatever you want to do.
Okay, I'm gonna share this. So this is the page where the success with the research that we've done. What we Not only us, I mean, like 30 researcher worldwide. We have people from Europe, even uh, Iran, and all kind of places. But then there's another page called Success Stories.
Hmm.
And if you go there, it's called Testimonials on Earthing, benefits A to Z. So if you go in there, and we are with them by a letter, like if you go to varicose vein, let's see if we go there. If we have something. Veins. See, we have something on the veins. And you can that, and you can have, we have two people who said that they had a good, uh, so pronounced discoloration of her leg, has suffered quite severe varicose vein in her legs during pregnancy. And he said that within a week or two, her sleeping on an earthing throw, the color of her legs began to lift and lighten, and over the following months, her leg got healthier. So we do have testimonials for that. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Fantastic, because Adele Scott has raised her hand. Got a question? Ian, over to you.
Hi there. I just want to
Hi.
say this is confirmation of what I've learned about the meridian. I'm somebody who suffers from trauma, and my nervous system was really going haywire. And learning about
Mhm.
the meridians and the chakras and how our energy beings really put things in perspective for me, and how I can use my voice or sound to calm my body, how I can ground to the earth and really connect with her by just being outside, being in the sun, touching a plant. Like, if I would have known that, I get emotional because something so simple really has saved my life. To be so connected to something, to feel safe within my body by just doing movements or sound, or by using a grounding mat when I'm sleeping. Like, these are all things I had to learn the hard way. And it's really good what you're teaching. And it's really important because it's really been able to help me get back into my body. You know, when you suffer from trauma, you have an outer body experience and it's hard for you to really connect. And by doing these things, it's really important and should really be taught in schools to help us
Yeah.
as we go through challenges. Uh, um, yeah, like just simple things by knowing like our heart chakras and learning about the meridians, how I can massage a certain point in my body, you know, to help relieve either an organ or an emotional challenge that I'm going through. Like something so simple that doesn't cost anything can help you and save you. So
Yeah.
it's confirmation for me of what you're talking about, and I really appreciate that you're sharing this.
Well,
Thanks, Adele.
well, thank you for your testimonial. That's amazing. Very
Thank you for
touching. Thank
sharing.
you.
Okay, I've got another question for you, Gaetan. Got
Yes.
Denise. She's got a year-round carport, has a base of dirt with some stones. Could I make a patch with more dirt and sand to stand on during the winter with shoes with a leather sole?
Okay. Can I see her question? Because I'm trying to understand
It's in the
exactly
chat. Open.
what what the cardboard, what is it's inside your house and you're putting dirt in there, or yes, can you
I'm
speak,
just
Denise?
unmuting you, Denise. Maybe you can unmute yourself because it's not working. Ah, there you go.
Okay, thanks. The carport is not attached to the house, but right outside the kitchen door. It's been there for 10 years. The base is basically dirt and about a foot of 0.75 stone. And I was wondering if I make a long stretch with more dirt and sand, could I walk on it during the winter with only my shoes that have a leather sole? It's outside,
Okay,
but protected from the snow.
okay. Uh, well, this thing is in contact with the earth, right? Your dirt
Yeah,
there?
yeah. The base of the carport is outside, so it's only dirt, earth, and stone. But there is about 10 inches to a foot of a lot of 0.75 stone mixed with the dirt before we build the carport. The
Okay,
carport
well,
is
yes.
directly on the dirt.
Okay, okay. And the stone, that's not a problem. Yes, that should work. The only problem is if you use normal shoes and you walk on that, then the shoes are made
No, no, no.
of
I have shoes with leather sole. I am 86 years
oh, okay,
old
okay.
and I have old shoes that
Okay,
I still
well,
use to walk with leather
yes.
sole.
Oh, wonderful, fantastic. Yes, that will work. Yes, that
Okay,
should work.
how long do I have to walk on that
Uh,
back and forth?
I recommend an hour, but what you can do is you can do half an hour. You cannot do less than half an hour because it does not trigger your physiology. So you can do half an hour one time and half an hour another time, you see, during the day, and
Yeah,
that should
but
be
it's
enough.
not gonna be a long walk. It has to be short because it's only a carport.
Well, okay, how about this? So you can walk a little bit, but how about taking a chair, sitting outside and with your feet
Oh,
on that thing? So you can read something there, or you can, and if you're there for half an hour to an hour, then yeah, this gonna work. Yep,
okay. Thank you.
you're
That's
Merci.
welcome. Bienvenue.
Merci.
Thanks, Denise. Great question. Now I've got another question from David. Um, do you think that the wireless electromagnetic world we live in is a significant source of dysregulation, which has helped by grounding, or is it likely negligible compared to other day-to-day behaviors?
So you're talking about the Wi-Fi, right? And
I
other like the cell phone and all of these. So these are very, very high frequencies, like in the gigahertz or hundreds of megahertz. And the body, even when the body is grounded, is not able to cancel that. So yes, there is an effect of being exposed to these high frequency EMF. However, if you are exposed, we also have low frequency EMF like emitted by the power at 60 hertz or 50 hertz, depending on what it is. When you're grounded, you're protected from that. And people talk about dirty electricity being dangerous. No, that's not a problem. When you're grounded, all of these are okay. But the very high frequencies, you still want to limit your exposure. The good thing also is that uh, when you're grounded, you're enhancing the healing capabilities of the body. So if you sleep grounded, this is the best thing because even if you've been exposed to some Wi-Fi or you use your cell phone, the cell phone is the worst actually because the cell phone, you have it right under your ear and it's a high frequency microwave generator system. You know that it uses the same frequencies as the frequencies in the microwave oven. I don't know if you noticed, but if you put the cell phone right on your ear and you spoke for 15 minutes, you're going to have your ear is warm because of the frequencies. So I would recommend that you put a distance, you use a speaker phone or, you use a wire. Uh, Try to diminish your exposure, but don't be too scared about that, especially if you are grounded every day. The body has an amazing power of regeneration. Uh, but yes, I would agree that limiting your exposure is best. Like if you don't use your Wi-Fi, just turn it off when you're not using it. If you can, like for example, my computer here that I'm using is on cable. It's not on Wi-Fi. If I need Wi-Fi, I'll turn it on, if I'm at the other place. But yes, you just want to be just cautious, and limit the exposure, but don't be too, how say that, scared or frightened by that. I mean, if you're grounded, you eat good food and things like that, the body is amazing.
Wow. You have been amazing, Gaetan. At time, I feel all the comments in the chat, have a look afterwards. You've answered all the questions, so it's been fabulous. People, look at all the love hearts people are sending you. So you are on the money. You're doing the right thing. Not that you need my confirmation, but from what people are saying
Thank
in the
you.
chat and the questions. So
Mm.
thank you so much for being
Thank
here.